What's up, crypto community? Jaman, Mr. S to the O to the L to the U to the Sean, Mr. Solution. It's a Saturday morning here, and from my time check, it's 11:40 a.m. That's 20 minutes to the hour of 12 p.m. And before us here, we are looking at LENA perpetuals. And in this tutorial, I just want to show us the different other types on FTX Exchange and how you can use them to maximize your trade, how you can use the various other types. If you click here now, you can see the various other types that FTX Exchange has. So my intention is to walk you through how you can utilize it so as to maximize your trade, so as to maximize your profit. All right. And before us is the coin LENA perpetuals. LENA Pep is one of the coins that pumped massively over the past few days, and it's actually one of the coins we traded in our signal group. That's in our paid signal group, of course. Yeah, we bought it around 6 cents, even though some persons said they got it around 7 cents. But even at that, we still saw it pump to as high as, it went to as high as that, over 32 cents. That's a whole lot of money, yeah. So let's just do a little analysis on this and see where we can enter, and then with the result of the analysis, we'll be looking at the various other types. All right, a quick one here. Let me draw the trend lines. Quick one, the trend lines. All right, I'm on 1 hour charts. This is 1 hour time frame. I'm using 1 hour for this. Okay, so what happened is that after the pump, we started seeing a series of corrections, started seeing a series of dump, and the market has been going down up to this very point. Okay, it broke above this descending trend line. It broke above it, and then what happened next is that it started going up. But here now we are seeing another retest. Like the market is actually coming back. It's actually coming back. So where do we think we can enter this trade if we eventually decide to take the trade? But remember that, please, this is not a financial advice. The essence of this, like I said, is just to show you guys how you can use the various other types. So don't use the result of whatever analysis you'll be getting here. Don't use it to gauge your trade, or don't use it to undertake any trade. That is not what this video tutorial is for. All right, so okay, we've seen this. Let me change this also to 15 minutes time frame as well. Okay, on the 15-minute charts, okay, also almost the same thing, sort of. All right, so we see a support here. We see a support around this region. For example, like this is a support here. This is a support. This is a support. Okay, the white line is a support. That's 0.167295. Yeah, that's a support. I hope it's visible enough. I'm trying to. Okay, so that's the support. So in a situation whereby the coin actually falls down, and the normal thing you do is that in a support, you buy at a support. So if you decide to buy, the right place for you to do that is here, because this is actually a support. And if you follow this very well, this is where the breakout occurred. Okay, so you could decide to place a buy here. Alternatively, you could equally place a buy here, depending on your longevity. What's your duration on the trade? Do you want to stay long? Are you looking for a scalp, or you just want to maybe buy it on spot and hodl? I don't know, whatever your intention is, because whatever your intention is, that will determine what kind of, how you can actually enter the trade. Okay, so because if you're just looking for quick money and all that, this is the ideal place for you. But if you're looking for a very comfortable entry, this is ideal. That's 0.164235. all right, because there is every tendency that if this eventually falls to this place, it will start going up. Yeah, it will definitely start going up. Why did I say that? I said it because this is where we saw that breakout. This is where the breakout actually happened. But like I said, this is not an analysis class. This is not a technical analysis class. All right, so in a situation whereby we decide to, okay, take this trade, and I will be using a live account for that. Okay, these are my various sub accounts on FTX Exchange. I have my Chop Life account. This is where I use for any emergency funds and topping up life and all that. Hodl to Lambo. This is where I'm having my long-term trades. Stocks. I also trade stocks, so this account is for my stock trades. Then we have the weekend trades. The funds here are basically for my weekend. Any time I don't always trade on weekends. So anytime I want to trade on weekends, this is where I normally go to. It's the funds from here that I normally use. And then you have my profit sub account. And then this is a great perpetual. I'm actually holding. I have an open trade here. Okay, I'm holding a trade on this one, so I'm still on it. So I'm using my weekend funds, all right? And then as a rule, I don't use more than 3x in all my trades. It's one of my risk management techniques. No matter how sure of the trade I am, I always use 3x. Doesn't mean I can't use 10x if I wish to, but this is a business and I approach it with the mind of a businessman. All right. So my maximum leverage is 3x. So I grow with 3x. All right. So that it also confers me the opportunity to stay longer in the trade. When everybody is scared and maybe trying to mitigate losses, I'm very much relaxed because I know that the money I'm putting there is really not, the money I'm risking is not really much. I use 3x. Okay. So basically that's that. And then if you check very well in the account, what I have is total collateral, I just have 2K. That's $2,000. That's what I have in my weekend trade account. All right. And even at that, I'm not going to use everything still for the trade. All right. So, like I said, if we decide to enter, let's say we want to take an entry, the right ideal place would be at 0.6. Let me change the color of this so that it doesn't deceive us. I could change to yellow. All right. So, okay. So I have 0.167990 as my first entry. All right. So we'll just go down now and put that 0.16990, 0.16, that's 0.16990. All right, that's that. Like I said, I am not going to use everything I have. I'm not going to use the total 2K for this trade. I could still reduce it. I might just decide to use 1K out of it. So 1K out of it is like 50%. Okay, so I'm using 50% of the total funds I have here. And if you look at it very well, you can see that my liquidation here, they're telling me that my estimated liquidation is 0.064247. Who cares? Right? I'm not worried about it. I'm not in any way perturbed about it. All right, so I could go right ahead and click on buy. All right, 0.67990. All right, so I could go right ahead and click on buy. But remember that what I'm using for this trade is limit order. Okay, what I'm using here is limit order. It's a limit order because I'm trying to buy at the price that the coin hasn't fallen to. Okay, I'm trying to buy lower than the current price. The current price is 0.17. Yeah, as from here. Don't judge with what we are seeing here. Just judge with what we, okay, it has actually came down a bit now. All right, so we have 0.167990. All right, let me just bring it down a bit because this thing looks like it still want to correct more. Okay, I could just maybe take my entry at 0.16690, 0.164,690. That's the second entry. 16,4,690. All right, still maintaining the amount of capital. That's 50% of my capital with 3x leverage. All right, so I decide to take that trade. I enter 64690. Let me first check everything. All right, so I'm using a limit order. Like I said, limit order is an order you use when the market hasn't gotten to the place you want to either buy or sell. So I want to buy at 16,490, but if you check where the price is, like it hasn't gotten to that. So I go ahead and click on buy with 50% of my funds on a 3x leverage. All right. So what does that show me? If I go to my open orders, it means that this is the size. I'm buying 18,170. Okay, I'm using 18,170. 18,107, that's my size, that's my position size, and this is my entry. Okay, so that's that. Now, if I want to take profit, how do I take profit? There are various ways I could decide to take profit. That will also lead me to another analysis, right? Like, where do I think is ideal for me to take profit? I could take profit here. Let me use this. Okay, I could take profit here. Maybe if he eventually comes here, because I know if he does come here, there is a probability that it might start reversing back. Okay, I could decide to take profit at this point, at this price. That's at 17,4465. That's my target number one. I could also take profits here. Okay, target number two. I could also take profits here. That's target number two. I could also take profits here. target number 3. All right. So what it shows is that I have 3 targets. I have 1, 2, 3 targets. So how do I take that profit? I could maybe, because I have how many positions? What's my position size? I have 18,170. Okay, I could decide to take all the profit at this same first target, that's 0.174465. I could just decide to take the profit at this point, or I could split my take profits. Okay, I could split it. How do I do that? Let's still continue. Okay, now assuming I have bought, okay, I've already purchased it, or rather my order is still open. I already have an open order of this. Now I want to take profit. Remember that the first target we have here is what? We have 0.174465. Okay, so remember I bought initially. So what I'll be doing now is to sell. So I want to sell. Okay, I want to sell with what? I want to sell using what? Take profits. I want to sell using take profit. Okay, and then my take profit there is 0.17 what? 0.174465. Okay, 0. Right? Yeah, 0.174465. That's my TP1. That's take profit 1. Now, if you check here, what is my order? I have about 18,170. That's my position size, because I don't want to take all the profit at this first target. Okay, maybe I want to take, like, let's say I want to take 8,000. The amount I want to take here is 8. The amount of profit I want to take is 8,000. So I want to take 8,000. I want to close 8,000 positions. 8,000 positions. Okay, I want to close 8,000 positions as at 0.174465. Okay, so what it means is that if I've actually chosen to close 8,000 positions at this price, I need to click on reduce only and also click on retry. Someone might ask, what is the purpose of this retry? What the retry does is that it tries as much as possible to make sure it closes the position for you at this price, at this very price you've chosen. Okay, so I'm closing 8,000 at this. I intend to close 8,000. Okay, 8,000 positions at this exact price. So I go right ahead and click on what? Sell. All right, I want to close that. So that's my TP1. If you check trigger order, that is where you can see it. You see my trigger order. I'm remaining size 8,000 to total size 8,000. I want to close 8,000 or 8,000 positions at this current order. And then remember, I still have more. I have about 18,000. So I'm left with what? 10,170. And then I have another target. The next target I have is 0.181220. Okay, and I could now decide to close another size at 18,1220. This is how you take your profits. Some persons don't know this, so that's why I took it upon myself to educate us, because sometimes you could get multiple targets. They could say TP1, TP2, TP3, and then you're wondering how to go about. This is just the most perfect. This is the perfect way to go about taking profit at various levels. All right, so I have over 10,000 positions left open. So what do I want to do now? I have 10,170. So I could just decide to close this one at let's say 5,000. I could decide to close at 5,170, right? 5,170. That's for my TP2. Remember, I'll have to click on reduce only. Please don't make this mistake. If you're doing the, if you decide to do this, always make sure you're sticking reduce only and also retry. Okay, so I want to close this 5,170 at 0.181220. I'll go ahead and click on what? Sell, and then I'll be left with what? 3,000 positions. Okay, I will still have 3,000 positions. Okay, open. So I also want to close that remaining 3,000. And what point do I want? Maybe I want to close it at 0.1963. Let me just put it at that. 0.1963. 0.1963. Okay, reduce only. Everything is checked. And that's, I have remaining 3,000, right? 3,000. That's 3,000. Okay. So, right? So, okay. So this is how you take profit at various positions. You see? So I have open order at this point. Trigger orders. These are the places where the coin hasn't gotten to, but if eventually gets to it, will now close the positions for me. And now another thing occurs. How do you also maximize this thing so that you don't get you don't lose out totally, or just to make sure that all those profit targets you put, you utilized all in a situation whereby, for instance, as we have our first TP is what, 0.174465, okay, which is here, which is this point. Yeah, you see what I said earlier. Market actually nearly touched it and then reverse. It's actually going back. But I'm not in a haste. I don't want to jump into anything. I do not intend to take this trade now, just for tutorial purpose, right? Just for education purpose. So let's say I've taken my profits here. Now, how do I ensure that this market doesn't reverse and I'll start eating me up? What I have to do now is to start adjusting my stop loss. Yeah, we've not talked about stop loss. So how do you set a stop loss? You also go to these very position types of orders, to these very other types. You have to select what? Select stop market. Please, stop market. That is what you're using to put your stop loss. That's what you're using as your stop loss. You select stop market. Now, assuming I decide to enter here, just like, okay, I decide to enter at this 0.167990, and then let's say my stop loss is somewhere around here. I'm selecting stop loss to be somewhere around here. All right, there is no basis for this. Okay, I'm selecting stop loss somewhere around here. The reason being that if eventually it falls down, maybe, and eats this up, I'll just know that this market has failed, right? That this market has failed, and it will have to continue its descension down. It will have to keep going down, just as that's always been going. You see, it's still jumping up and all that, but I'm not perturbed. I'm not worried. I'm not in a haste to jump in and all that. Okay, so my stop loss should be here. Let me change the color to red. All right, so I have 0.158,400 as my SL. That's as my stop loss. Okay, I have it here. I have 0.159,500 as my SL. That's my stop loss. Okay, now how do I do that? I go to this stop market and then select this, just as I've said, shown us already. This select it. Okay, I have 0.159,500 as my stop loss. I just go right ahead and put it to 0.159,500 as my what? As my SL. That's as my stop loss. Remember, this is my stop loss. So what I'm doing is to do what? Is to use all the positions. So I have 18,170. Okay, 18,170. That's what I have here. So I want to close all the positions at this price. Okay, at 18,170. Price eventually goes down to this, descends to this low. Remember, I'm using stock market, so I want to close everything. Click on reduce only, click on retry. Okay, I go right there and click on what? I go right there and click on sell. Yeah, so I ensure I check the reduce only and then retry, then I go right ahead and click on what? Sell. Okay, so you come here, you see it here, you see my sell stop. Okay, this is my sell stop, this is my sell take profit, take profits 1, 2, 3, and then this is my sell stop. That's my stop loss. All right, then this is my buy limit where I want to enter the trade, that where I intend to take an entry and all that. Okay, so that's that for how to use the stock market. Stock market, what it does is that it helps you to it stops you it takes you out of the market if market starts going against you, so that you don't lose more than you're supposed to do. Now, this is actually the alternative you could use if you are not using this advanced order type that FTX has. In the advanced order type, you have the option to put your entry. You have the normally use limit order. You have the option to use your we have entry price, you have take profit, and you also have stop loss. So in a situation whereby you are not using that one, or let's say you're using the buy stop order, we still talk about the buy stop order. Okay, so this is the only time you can use this order type. But if you're using the limit order, where you are giving your entry, your take profit, and then your stop loss, that is the time you can use this very advanced order type. But if you're using a buy stop order and all that, so let's go to the buy stop order. What do we mean by buy stop order? we have the stop limit. Okay, the stop limit could be a buy stop limit or a sell stop limit. They are different. The buy stop is when you want to buy, the sell stop is when you want to sell. So how do we, let's practicalize that now. I want to use a stop limit. Okay, I want to buy and I want to use a stop limit order for that. I want to use a buy stop. Please buy stop, because there's a difference between buy stop and sell stop. So how do you use a stop limit, or when do you use a stop limit? You use a stop limit order when the very coin you want to buy hasn't gotten to that very price you want to enter at. Please get it clearly. Assuming the price, okay, as we have now that the price of this LENA is what, 0.17 cents roughly. Okay, but then you want to buy it at what? You want to buy it at 18 cents, 0.8, or rather you want to buy it at 0.4, 0.17, 0.18 cents. Let's put it that way. The current price is what? Is 17 cents roughly, but you want to buy at what? 18 cents. The reason being that you believe that that 18 cents is a barrier that if eventually breaks through, if price eventually gets to that 18 cents, nothing will stop it from getting to maybe 21 cents and all that. But you want to be very sure that it will get to that 21, and for it to get to that 21, it needs to crush 18 cents, or you need to defeat 17 cents totally. Okay, so you want to buy at 18 cents so that you'll be very, very sure that there is no retest, there's not going to be another dump down to 17 cents. So what you'll be using is what? A buy stop limit order. So you come here and select the stop limit. Remember, you're buying, you put this buy stop, and like we said, this is the current price of the market, but you want to buy it at what? You want to buy it at 0.18. Okay, now you select the amount you want to use. Maybe I want to use everything. Okay, I want to use everything I have. I'm not clicking on this reduce only. Reduce only. You can only use reduce only when you want to close a position. But since I haven't entered a position, there is no need for me to click on the reduce only, because I'm not trying to reduce any position. Okay, so I want to use a buy stop limit to enter. Remember, my definition of it is, I said a buy stop limit is an order type where you buy at the where a buy stop limit is an order type you use when you want to buy a particular coin where the price hasn't gotten to, or you want to buy it at a bit higher price than the current price is. Please get it very well. You want to buy a coin at the price that it hasn't gotten to, or at a price that it is a bit higher than the current price. That is when you use what? That is when you use a buy stop limit. Now, for buying, if you look at this place, we have the trigger price, and we also have what? We have the limit price. Now, if you're buying, you make sure that your trigger price is a bit lower than the limit price. If you're buying, make sure that your trigger price is a bit lower than what? Than your limit price. That's for buying. Now, you want to buy at, let's say, the signal I gave you, I say buy at 18. So what it means is that if you're buying at this 18, this very 18 cents will now be your what? We have to be your, let me copy it. This very 18 cents will have to be your limit price. Okay, we have to be your limit price. So your trigger price could be, maybe it could be 0.17990 or something. Okay, but just make sure that, okay, let's just use something different, please. Let me show that to be well understood. Let me use let's say our entry is 17.985. Let me put it at that. 17.9986. That's our entry. That's the entry I gave. And then your limit price is what? Your limit price is remember, if the signal the price I give, your entry price has to be your what? Has to be your limit price. So let's say this is the limit price I give. This is the limit price I give. Okay, which is this. Okay, so like I said, your trigger price has to be a bit, not much, a bit lower than your limit price. So in that case, we could have, let's say, it's 84, or maybe we could have 80. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, we could have 0.17980 as our trigger price, and then our limit price is that very price we are told to buy. Okay, so what this other type does is that it will not come to this other books. It will not be placed on the other book here. It will not come here. It will only come here when it eventually gets to the trigger price. So if it gets to this trigger price of 0.17980, then this your limit price will be activated. Okay, it will be activated into the other book. So that's the difference between the normal limit order and then the stop limit. The same thing also applies when you are using a sell. When I give a sell stop, let's say you want to short a market. Okay, you want to short, that's when you can use a sell stop. Now, if you're using a sell stop, the reverse of what happened here has to happen here. What it means is that your trigger must be higher than your limit price. Okay, if you're using a sell stop, your trigger must be higher than what? Must be higher than your limit price. Okay, this is the limit. Let's say I give a sell here. Let's also look at the chart once more. Let's say price eventually okay, let's look at this chart now. Let's say we believe that if this price eventually gets to, okay, this is our sell stop. Let's use the sell stop. We believe that if price eventually gets to 0.15950, it will start dumping, like it will start going down. Like maybe you believe that it could maybe go to as low as, let me use, okay, it could go to maybe this point. Let's put it this way. Remember, this is not analysis. I'm just trying to, pass information with this. All right, so we believe it eventually gets to this 0.15500, that it will get to 0.15500. But we don't want to, we just want to be very, very sure that this thing is going to happen. We just want to be very, very certain that it is going to occur. And if you check the price is what? The current price is around 0.169970. That's the current price. So we want to sell at a price that is far lower than what the current price is, because we are aiming to take profit at this point. Now we have to go to select our sell stop. Remember, we are using stop limit. So we are using a sell stop limit order. Now we select the price that we believe if you get to, it will now fall down. It will start going down again. So that price is what? 0.15500. Okay, 0.15500, 0.15500. Okay, and remember that 0.15500. Remember that this very one now, the limit price is still the very price I give. I remember like what I said initially, that your trigger for sell stop, that your trigger price must be higher than your limit price. For a sell stop, your trigger price must be higher than your limit price. So this is the price I give. Let's say I say we should short at this point, or maybe you decide to short at this point, at this 15,950. So what it means is that this is where you're going to place it, but then your trigger price has to be a bit higher, not much. It shouldn't be higher than 2 digits, at most 5 digits. Okay, so you could use, we have 500 here, you could use 490, you could use 490 or 495. That's just a difference of 5 digits. So it doesn't have to be so spaced. If you space it like that, sometimes it will get there, your order will not fill, because it might just get there and reverse, start going up again. So that's why you need to be very, very careful of the difference between the 2 digits. Sometimes some people could just leave it at, sometimes I leave the price at the same thing. I could leave it at 15,950 for the 2 places. It makes no difference. But I'm just doing this thing for the purpose of maybe understanding, because someone might be asking what's the difference between a trigger price and a limit price. So you've now understood the difference. So in that case, we go ahead and click on what? We go ahead and click on sell. We are shorting the market, so to say, but I'm not going to short. I'm not trying to short the market because this is a bullish market. So there's no need for me to short it, right? So after you must have set that, we go right ahead and click on what? Click on sell. Okay, then when we must have done that, is to go ahead and start selecting your take profit and all that we've already talked about. So we've seen the difference between a limit order, a stop market order, which is used for your stop loss, and then a stop limit order, which could either be a buy stop or a sell stop. Then we have the market order. Now, what is a market order? A market order is simply an order where you need to buy at the current price. Whatever market is selling, that's the price you want to buy it at. That's the price you're buying it at outrightly. If you check here, there is nothing for you to key in. You are not keying anything. There is no value. So if you're using a market order to buy, What it means is that you're buying it exactly at the price. Okay, so the only thing you need to adjust is probably you don't want to use all the money you have. You could just drag the cursor to whatever percentage or whatever amount it is you want to use for the trade and all that. That is just the only thing you're doing if you're using a market order. Okay, so select the quantity or the amount of your money you want to use for the trade and go ahead and click on buy. Automatically it will buy for you using the current market price. But there is a downside to this. The downside to this is that you're going to be paying what they call a taker fee. You're paying a taker fee because you're taking volume out of the market, out of the exchange, so to say. Let me just simply put it that way. Yeah, because as you're stacking, if you have orders stacked here, it helps to generate volume. You know, it helps to kind of give the exchange more volume and all that. And then you are also paid some fees that is called maker fee. Okay, that's for allowing your order to be in the order book. Okay, unlike when you're using a market order where you just want to buy immediately. But then there's also an advantage to it, and the advantage to it is that in a situation whereby you've seen that this market is actually going lower than you anticipated, or maybe it has reached your take profit, you don't want to miss out. You don't just want to lose all you've made. You just go ahead and use a market order to close everything and maybe to secure your profit or to curtail your losses and all that. So it has an advantage. It also has a disadvantage. Okay, so that's for the market order. Maybe probably in the subsequent episodes we're going to look at take profit limit. Take profit limit is almost the same thing as the normal take profit we have. Okay, the only difference is that we have a trigger price and we have a limit price. As a matter of fact, I've never used take profit limit because it makes no sense to me. I've never used trailing stop. Okay, so these ones I have explained are the ones I've always used. Okay, so I use take profit, I use stop limit, I use stop market order. I don't always use market order, in all sincerity, and then I use limit order. Okay, so these are the various other types we have, which I have been using for a very long time and which have been serving me. All right, guys, that's that for the various other types on FTS. I hope the video has been educative enough. I hope it has been eye-opening. And please kindly hit the subscribe button. You could share the video to some of your friends who want to understand more on the various other types on FTX Exchange. Okay, if you have any question, any comments, anything you want us to discuss about cryptocurrency trading, I'm online 24/7. You could contact me through any of my social media channels. I'll be leaving my WhatsApp link at the description section of the video. You can contact me on my Telegram account or my Twitter or even on my Instagram account. All links to my social media handles are at the description section of the video. And then I'll see you in the subsequent episodes. I remain your man, Mr. Solution.